Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and welcome to another ENFP male interview. Today, I get to interview Luan. So, Luan, welcome, man.
Thank you, Kendrick. Thank you for having me.
For sure, dude. So, can you tell us what your full type is?
Yeah, so my full type is ESTP, consume, play, sleep, blast, so SETI, so standard ESTP.
Now, what's a sexual modality?
And yeah, sorry, so MF, so audio.
Your audio?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got it wrong then when you I think when we're talking, I thought you were like FF or something. That's cool. Don't have any audio version of you yet. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I know you're also audio, right?
Yeah, yes. All right, cool,
Okay.
man. So what did you think? How did you feel when you got your typing results back?
Actually, I was quite devastated. So my work collapsed for at least 4 hours. Because I wasn't expected to be an EP. I thought I was a jumper INFJ, so NITI. It was quite a shock to see SE as a dominant function. So I'm still processing it, but yeah, for sure at that time I wasn't really expecting that. And for the rest, it was so I got the sexualities right. But for the animals, of course, I type myself as lead sleep, which and consume last, by the way, and they type me as lead consume. So, but I wasn't that shocked about that because now I kind of see how I am lead consume. So my judgment was based on more on anecdotes, So, but yeah, for the EC, so the EP part was quite a shock. Yeah.
Well, at least you saw all your functions because INFJs and ESTPs have the same function stack. So at least you saw all of those.
Yeah. That's at least it was not totally the totally different type. So
yeah.
So there was some sense in that. You're right. Yeah.
You saw yourself. It's just different order.
Yeah. Reverse for the.
You type yourself backwards essentially. Yes, you did. Okay, let's go over your parts then. Let's talk about the first part. EP instead of IJ. What part of that devastated you? Why? Yeah, go ahead.
So for me I was quite I related a lot to the OI temperaments. So I, and maybe something important to quickly tell you, Kendrick, is I was born with disabilities in my hips. So and I had a surgery 1 year ago. So for 29 years, but because I'm 30, I had trouble to walk and to do sports. So I was kind of not able to express myself, let's say. And I think this had a huge impact on how I perceive myself, because I kind of have a self-discipline, and people seem to see me more OI. Actually, I think that's what they say. So I was for sure biased with that, and also the people I've met that knows MBTI, because I just know one person that knows OP, and they all thought I was NI dumb. So I was also quite biased by that. So EP, I was okay. This is something totally different. But anyway, now I do see much more the SC dumb. I do see the fear of control. But yeah, it takes time to process. I cannot process that in 6 days. It's so huge. It's related to my identity. So yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely takes time to fully process it. Like when I got my results back, it took me like a year to really process it.
Yeah, a year. Okay.
Yeah, before I came to terms with it, because I knew I was an ENFP, and they did type me as an ENFP, but then it was like completely different order of ENFP, right? So I was like, what the hell? So it's
yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Let's talk about the first part. SE, masculine SE. How do you personally experience that masculine SE?
So I experience it in a couple of ways. So in the physical world, I was sure. So I was sure about the masculinity because I'm very punchy with the sensory. This is when I saw the videos of Dave and Shan. It was, yeah, that's me for sure. And but also for the intellectual part, let's say for the information, I see that I really need to base to rely on the sensory. So when I read something, I kind of recall it. At least I need to recall it. So I think I have a good memory for DSC that are important to prove my NI. I was able, I think, to see that because other people were saying, yeah, you have a good memory for like facts or for because I was coming to them and say, you remember you told that? And he said, what the hell you remember that? You know. Yeah. So I know it's kind of anecdote, but anecdotes from everywhere, and then my own thinking. I was like, yeah, it makes sense for the masculine SE, and yeah, I do see it really with a masculine consume, but yeah, probably we'll talk about that a bit later. So yeah, that's how I perceive it.
Gotcha. And what about your TI? How do you perceive your masculine TI?
Yeah, for my masculine TI, so I type myself as TI savior because yeah, I was quite convinced at least about that. So how I perceive it is it's more about, again, the information. So I see that I'm kind of doing like the savior TI do, which is the need of building that framework of understanding. So it's really like I really see my TI like a judge that a very annoying judge, that it's not satisfied very very fast, and really everything I'm learning, so I'm grasping from DSC and I'm using my NI to get the pattern. It's like this TI is very solid in the way that I'm not convinced to go gather more. I really see it like that. And for the self-above tribe, right now I'm still processing that because I'm double decider, as you. So it's kind of I see it when, yeah, for example, when I'm using my play, for example, I kind of suppress my TI if it's not something, it's not that a big deal, I can do that. So I can see my double decision. So, but yeah, at some point in my life, I made important choices with my reasons. And that's how I see my TI. It's really, I can see on a scale that it comes again and again and again. And, but yeah, I think I have a good double decision, so it's more related to the information. With the information, it's quite clear. I really see the need of, it's like, it's not enough, go gather more, go gather more, go gather more. It's not enough. I'm not convinced. It's not true, So yeah, that's
well, that's cool that you saw yourself as a double decider even before you got the ESTP type, because if you were typed as an INFJ, you would also be a double decider, right? So you already knew you were a double decider before.
Yeah. I was quite convinced of that, of course, based on my subjective dirty logic. But yeah,
dirty logic.
I wasn't, I was sure that I was not that stuck with people, and I have an INTP friend, which is a severe TI. So it's a severe TI, and I have a proof of what is severe TI. What is being stuck with people. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but I was able to see that it's double observer and not double decider. And then I was like, no, I'm not like that. Sometimes like, why are you stuck that much? Not that a big deal, just forget it, go ahead. And then I was speaking like an observer, like, yeah, maybe they were tired, maybe it's that this thing, or I was using things to make excuses for them, So I was like, that's very observer stuff. So maybe I'm double-decided.
Gotcha.
So that's a bit how, yeah.
I want to go back to the consume. So consume is one half of self-awareness. So self-awareness is sleep and consume, right? Sleep is self-awareness from inside, and consume is self-awareness from outside. So if you become a ghost, you can see yourself, like watching yourself almost from an outside perspective. So because you're consumed first, are you very aware of how you come across, how you present yourself to the world at all times?
Actually, I haven't processed that much, but yeah, I think I'm aware. I think I'm aware of that. I do take care of that as well. So, but it's very interesting. You say that the sleep and the consume. I haven't thought about that before. So I think, yeah, I can kind of see myself. Also, I also see myself like yeah, for the back and forth, like a double decider as well. Like I can really see the perspective of the others, and like maybe they will think about that if I go out dressed like that, or
Yeah.
I think I kind of see that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good. Let's talk about your play. Your play is SF. It's like what's cool, what's popular. How do you do the SF play?
So how I do it, I think it's really, as it's SF, it's really like just cracking jokes, playing with others, doing activities. But also I see the FE like doing activities so we can connect all together, a bit like that. I see that sometimes my goal is like let's do stuff, or let's, for example, learn something, so some facts or some stuff, or so then we kind of connect together. And but also for the consume, I see a lot my player for the consume, because when I need an information, sometimes people have that information, so I kind of go back and forth and discuss, and then I kind of take the ST from them with my play. So I also see it like that, but it's in that specific case, it's more SE-FE, it's more doing the FE to get the SE. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Doing the FE to get the SE. So you're really after the SE. The FE is just like a tool to get it.
Yeah, not. I think it's not very always like that, but sometimes I can see, and it's probably related to my masculine consume. Like, for some reasons, I saw that I see that discussing with people will help me a lot to have a better understanding. So just exchanging facts, and rather than just doing it by my own, that's what I want to say by that. And I think I gotta try as well so they can have a benefit in it as well. It's like at the end we are all happy, and the vibe is preserved.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. Like to do that, that's like a superpower, I think, because not everyone can do that double deciding stuff, right?
Yeah, but anyway, when I try at least to do it.
Yes.
This I saw that sometimes I do it. Yeah.
Let's talk about the FE part of that SF. So FE is tribe values. So would you say you share the values of the people around you, family, friends, and whatnot?
Yeah, and my FE is feminine, so I see that I'm quite movable with the tribe. And how I see movable with the tribe is I have no problem to go with the flow. I'm not like breaking the vibe. I'm more like anyway, yeah, okay, let's do this. And I really take into account when I make a personal decision, if it will break the vibes, if it will go against the traditions, if it will, at least it comes to my consciousness. This is something I'm thinking. But as I'm serial TI for, as I said before, for big decisions, it's my reasons. But at least I do see that. I do see that the vibe of the people around me, so my tribe, and that I need to take care of that. And and sometimes I think I can see my FE when I really like, just if someone is happy, I'm kind of happy as well. You know, I'm kind of sharing, reproducing the emotion somehow, and I'm totally okay with that. I think for the FITE, it's a bit weird. I think something.
Well, with FI, you can feel like you can feel bad, but I don't feel bad when you feel bad. I don't feel what you feel.
Okay.
You
All
know?
right. Yeah. So
but,
yeah. Okay.
But if you share a story with me of something that happened to you, and I've felt that before, then I can feel what you're feeling. But I need to have been in that experience before.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. At least it's different.
It's different. Yeah. But sometimes the FI can come across as FE. If I've felt what you felt before, then I can feel with you.
Yeah.
But if
so you have like okay.
Yeah, but if I never did, then I don't like I'll give you my example. My sister is a nurse, right? And
okay.
And she has FI. I think she's an ENFP also. She kind of looks like me actually, except if you cover our mouth, we look the same. And
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, except I think she's last. But anyway, so she works in the hospital, and then she was telling this family that their family member is about to die, and then she was smiling when she was smiling when she told them that. It's really fucked up, man. FI's fucked up. And then she was
yeah, I see. All right. Yeah, it's okay.
It's like your family's gonna die soon.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like your family's gonna die soon. You know, it's like what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I think it's a very good example because it's really what FE is doing. Like, you know, in such specific situation, it's like be the vibe, you know, be the vibe. So change your behavior and change your emotions. So you are sad with the people, you know, or at least you're not expressing something that will be awkward, or you know.
yeah. Like that's the worst time to have FI. That's like the worst time. That's why most nurses are ISFJs, right? Because you can't have like
interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't have an FI person as a nurse. Like that's horrible, you know, because this kind of shit will happen, right? Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny talking about it, but you know,
no, I won't forget it. Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about your third animal, which is NT. NT sleep. This is what you thought you were. This is your third animal, but this is what you thought you were as your first. So now that you know that this is your third animal, not your first animal, how do you see it now? You know, how do you experience it?
Actually, I consume some videos of leader NT to really see what they are doing, you know, and especially the NITI. So I see that I do it for sure because it's I have, so somehow I'm NITI at a specific part of the time, you know, part of the day, but I don't do that all the time. I can see that because I really see my NITI, my NT sleep like leaving the planet. Like I kind of lose my bodily existence for a while. I can be clumsy in that specific situation. But yeah, those guys do that all the time. And for sure, if I compare with the consume and I track back, you know, consume play, for sure, I do further consume. So I do the sleep later. That's more and more obvious. Still processing again, but yeah. Compared to them, it's not the same. So yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine you're like a floating brain all the time if you are lead NT consume? Like you don't have a body, right? You're just a brain, essentially.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating and generalizing, but at least that's how it feels sometimes to me. And but it's also how, you know, Carl Jung described the DNI. You know, it's like not really aware of their bodily existence. So I guess if it's sleep, it's like more, you know, if it's sleep. But at least, yeah, I feel that I kind of change the brain waves for a while, and I go to a specific brain state. I somehow see that, but it's not like all the time. It's not like all the time. So now that I have more the objective reality, it makes more sense that I'm not the sleep. Yeah.
Because your NT is third, your NT means you're problem solving or you're figuring something out. It's sleep also, so it's very personal. So I want this is a two-part question. So the first part is talk about how the figuring out part or solving puzzle part is personal to you. Like you don't want anyone to be involved in that process. Like this is yours only. Like this is something you do personally. And you said you don't use it all the time. So tell me when you bring it out, when you do use it. So go for it.
All right. So for the first part, so I do see that it's personal because it's really building a framework. It's really like when I gather the ESE, so I go with Google Scholar, I read a book, I watch one of your video, for example, and so on. So I'm just grasping the objective reality. The facts on its own is not important. I don't care. It's just I will be an impression of it, and then that's how I see it's personal, because then there is this unconscious process of the NI, and then to my consciousness, I have if I'm consuming a lot on a topic, I feel I'm narrowing down. At that specific time, I'm consuming more and more because I want to verify into, like in lead SE. And then I kind of have to my consciousness there's this inside, there's this pattern. And then my TI is like, no, it's not enough. So because if you are not sure, you will be building from something that is not stable, and if it's not stable, then you won't be able to progress and to have a better understanding. So for example, for ops, I convinced myself that it's not a waste of time to consume ops, but to arrive to this feeling of conviction, there is this process of NT, like okay, now I see the direction, it makes sense. So go and gather more, go and go to the website and consume the video and go your typing and so on, So it's personal in the sense that I need to have, like the Savior TIs, that framework of understanding. I kind of feel it, and if it's not, and it also, that's how I see why I see this masculine double activated TI, because it's very, very difficult to satisfy. It's like, no. Even if it makes sense, it's not enough to go gather more, So, and that's really my identity, because I'm building for myself. It's my own knowledge. It's somehow my intelligence, I cannot play with that. It needs to be accurate to some extent, because I know I cannot just go gather the whole objective reality. It's impossible. But to some degree, I need to be satisfied. And that's how I really see it's personal. It's like I have my reasons, I'm building my own framework, really, and if it's easily shaken, then my identity is easily shaken. I really see it like that. And for the second part, so you asked me, can you remember me the second part? I
just asked you when you bring it up, when you use it, like when, because it's
yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. So for sure, I see it when I'm narrowing down. So you know how it works. You are interested in a specific topic for a while, and then you have this feeling, and at that specific time, it's really like, please don't bother me. I need to process that, because I'm getting to some conclusion, and I will see in that specific time, and also in general, in general at the end of the day, or I have part of the day when I'm really thinking, I'm really processing, and like I'm like remembering what I learned, remembering something someone said in a video, and then it's like maybe this is I can relate that to that, so I think that's the anti-sleep, because it's really processing and trying to get a better understanding of all that knowledge, so yeah, that's how I perceive it.
Gotcha. Let's talk about the next part, NF blast. So I'll ask you about your NI later. Okay, I just want to do the NF blast first before we do that.
Okay.
So your blast last,
right.
it's NF. There's a lot of dimensions to blast. So let's talk about the first one. Getting started. Your blast last. How hard is it for you to get started?
Yeah, so I do see that I really like to leave the options open, to keep the options open. That's very true. I cannot deny that. And so I learned to set boundaries to myself, because if you are blast last and lead consume, and you set you really learn that, I think, because you made a lot of mistakes. You need to get things done, and you basically don't do it. So but I see, if I'm like not wanting to track myself, then I'm a real blast last. So I will procrastinate. I will do. There's not enough information. There is not enough information, and by the way, something that helped me a lot is what Dave and Chen explained about. Even if it's crap, do it. Then it will be better. And this is something I'm really trying to apply. And I see that in the past, I had some projects in mind, and I haven't really done it because like it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And then the only way to make it good is to begin with a beta version or something which really crap, and then you build from that. And this is very something I try to apply. But it is for sure a struggle. It is for sure a struggle, and I really need to keep track of myself in that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a tricky one, because your imaginations, the reality will never catch up to your imaginations, right? So you better get started, even if it's shit, because eventually it'll be something close. But you can't get there if you don't do it. So that's a good one.
Yeah, right.
The next part of the blast is the NF part, which is the woo-woo. But NF is not really woo. In my opinion, it's not really woo-woo. It sounds like it's woo-woo, but it's real, because clearly it works. So I want to use Conor McGregor as an example. Do you watch UFC?
Yeah, I watch UFC. Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw my video on the NF blast. For people with your okay, yeah, check it out sometime. But anyways, in that video, I talk about Conor McGregor. He's NF blast last.
Cool.
Yeah, he's NF blast last. ISTP though, so not, but same function stack as you.
Okay.
And, he said in the video that when he was younger, his sister kept showing him this thing called The Secret, and he's like, "What is this shit? The Secret? Like, what is this? Not the garbage."
The Secret. Yeah.
You know that, right? Have you watched this?
I know. Yeah. I do know. Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, "What is this nonsense shit?" Right? But anyways, but he said that when he started taking it seriously, he said his life started to change. He said at first he was practicing it small, like thinking, "Okay, I'm gonna imagine, I'm gonna have this parking space open, and I'm gonna make it, make it real." And he said sometimes it'll work and sometimes it doesn't work. But
okay.
But the one that really worked well for him was in UFC, because he dreamed that he would get the belt, and he would be the first one to have two belts, the first UFC fighter to have two belts, right? He had the featherweight title, and lightweight. So he made it happen. First guy ever to have two belts at the same time in UFC.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's because he respected the NF, and he had an interview with Tony Robbins, and that's what he told Tony Robbins. It's like, I got the 2 belts because of the secret, and the secret is NF. It's like,
okay,
yeah,
all right, okay,
yeah, because he imagined it. He imagined this thing that he's gonna get,
yeah,
and even though it's bullshit, like
yeah.
NF, it's real because he got it right. So
Yeah, but it kind of set the path,
yeah,
NF is important. Yeah, ST without NF is rude and cold,
or it's what?
the STs without the NF is rude and cold. It's like I do see how it's important to respect and to consider the NF. And it's a very good example, yeah, because he's very ST double masculine, if I'm not wrong. So it's a very good example, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Right. And so if you think about it, ST is worthless without NF, because NF is, what is the point? What is the purpose, right? So you're gathering all this ST, but for what? What's the point?
Yeah.
So there needs to be like an end goal, right? So NF is the end goal.
Yeah, a path. Yeah.
A path. So I want to ask you this question then. You are NF last. This is going to be your biggest struggle then. Talk about finding your path, your end goal. Like, how difficult is that for you?
Finding my end goal. Yeah, it's the thing is I do see that my NI is feminine, because I see the path, but it can change quickly if there is more SC together, So if I kind of understand that maybe I should go and to that direction, so then I will have a better understanding and we go get the SC. I will kind of break the path. So it's not like a NI masculine lead NI really solid path. I do see that I don't have that. So I really see that the need for control is very important, because if I just let the tidal wave, I will have the fear of the control. So then I will then break the path. So, and because of that, I want to reach my goals. So I really see that, okay, I see the path, take the time to continue on that path, and to believe, to not be too rational, and just to consider the concrete. Like you need to see that, yeah, you need a goal in your life. It's not just if there is something logical in the concrete. You need to consider it through the NF. Sometimes it's like you need to take time and consider it, because if you don't do that, then you will end with a tidal wave. So I kind of see that. I still need to process it, but I'm convinced of the usefulness of the NF. Yeah, that's for sure.
Got it. So this leads us to the final part of the tie-in. So we talk about your NT sleep, NF blast. So the big elephant in the room is the NI, feminine NI. This is going to be your life problem as an ESTP. And you thought you were lead NI first. So this is kind of interesting why you thought that. So you said you're scared of control. So let's start with that. You're scared of control. What control are you scared of exactly? Because NI is not physical. It's abstract. So basically it's the system, the government. Like what are you scared of with that NI?
The way I see the fear of the control with the NI is, I do have sometimes into my consciousness this fear of there is an abstract control, and right now I'm a data scientist, so I'm working quite a lot with AI, and I'm very interested in the topic. But the thing is, when you enter the topic, then your brain is like, ooh, maybe because with AI you can do a lot. You can really control, but it's very, it's abstract to say control. But let's say learning AI, it's perfect to trigger the NI, and so man, maybe there is a control, and I do see that. I do have those observer freakouts. That's for sure. I have it. And sometimes I try to not gather some information in a specific topic, because then I trigger my NI like hell. And I don't, no, it's not the time. I will have that empty sleep, very difficult to stop. I was, no, it's not the time. So I see it like that. But for the control itself, how I see it is, I do see that when it's time to just stick to a job, or it's time to just stick to something, because I see that I need the future, and then I'm like, but it's going to be 9 to 5, and it's like let's keep the options open. And so at least I see the control with that NI, abstract, a bit conspirationist, and also the control in the reality, in the physical world, so yeah.
Gotcha. So it seems like a lot of people with NI in their function stack, especially the EPs, are scared of AI. I think that's it's very interesting. I remember I did one interview with a panel interview, and with the INTJ stack. And there was a girl who was an ESFP, and she obviously NI at the bottom, and she said, "Oh, if there's any AI, I want to bow to the AI masters." So she was saying, so I thought it was really funny. So when you talk about AI, so you said you're scared of what could potentially happen with AI, the control that the AI can do, right? So I don't know if you've watched a lot of movies, but do you see AI more like the Matrix, where the AI controls all the humans, and then they'll put us in the Matrix? Or is it more like a Terminator, like Skynet, and they're gonna kill all of us? Like, what is like?
Yeah, actually, as I'm in the field, I do not see AI as negative. I just have those freakouts because I do see what's the potential of AI. I don't see that. I know it because I gather information, and I discuss a lot about the topic. I consume a lot of videos. So I do see what could be done with AI. And one thing I really freak out is information, because right now, you have as we have recommendations, because we are the products, they want us to see ads. And when I say they want us, is the big tech companies, and the thing is, the information is really directed, so we are kind of in our own boxes, and this is something I see as a problem, because it's not it's very controlled and directed. This is reality, and that's really what freaks me out, because our thinking is changing based on what we gather, even though we aren't conscious of it, we are changing based on that. And this is a freak out I have. But for the rest, Terminator and so on, not really. As I said, I see a lot of good applications of AI. I have a background in healthcare, and I see that it can help a lot, and it's really helping a lot right now, a lot of people. But it's like everything, with a smartphone you can do very bad things, but it's just technology. It will be developed, because there is a possibility to develop it, and there is a huge market, and so it's more related to the information, not the AI that will control everyone. Even though it's very it's more powerful than people can imagine, but right now it's more intuition than facts. So people say maybe 30 years they will be more smart than us and will be replaced. That's a possibility, but it's more abstract than factual, so we will see.
So I think I saw a video of like Elon Musk putting a chip in people's brains. How do you
how
do you feel about that? Would you let people put a chip in your brain?
That's problematic. That's problematic. And by the way, but by the way, they do that because it's related to transhumanism, you know. So it's like competing with AI. So it's going to the direction of AI will overcome humanity. So there is something, you know, but that freaks me out because, you know, then you have they have access to your identity, to your thoughts, and yeah, that's I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think about it.
Oh, hell no. I'm not going to put that in my head. But I'm an EP, man. I don't want that shit on my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care what benefit it has. I don't need it.
Yeah, it's too, you know, a smartphone is a thing, but a chip in your brain, it's, you know, your thoughts and your memories, and yeah, that's cannot. That freaks me out as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're the same page for this. Let's talk about your sexual modalities. You are audio kinesthetic. Talk about learning by hearing and also by with your hands and movement.
With the hearing, I do see that I don't know if it's related, but I consume a lot of podcasts. I really I kind of memorize well when I'm hearing. I think for the kinesthetic, I still need to process that. I'm not sure of that part. I'm not sure if I'm learning by manipulating objects, but I just see the masculine SE because I kind of feel the weights and be a bit competitive, you know, like very muscular, very solid with the sensation. I do see that, but with the kinesthetic, the learning, this is something I still need to see. I'm not totally, but for the audio, I think I'm learning quite well with the. It makes sense, at least. It makes sense, yeah.
Got it. All right, dude. I think I asked you most of the questions already, so I'll ask you 2 final questions and then we'll wrap the interview. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, because I think you covered them pretty quickly. I was like, oh, you answered everything already. Unless I forgot something that I normally ask, but if I did, let me know because I'm trying to think. I'm like, you answered everything already. That's fast.
All right.
So the first one is I want to go back to SE actually. So you mentioned that SE is very competitive with the physical. What are you competing on exactly with that SE? Like, is it like, I know David Chan talks about like, oh, you know, you want to have a bigger muscle than the person beside you, or you know, the nicer car or something. Like how do you see that SE competition?
I kind of see it with the body, yeah. Naturally, it's not really competitive, but it's like comparing and you know, paying attention to that, you know, to the masculine SE, you know, really, a bit like the body. Yeah, that's right, a bit like the body. But for the rest, you know, like the objects of cars, and I'm not sure to see that in myself, but yeah, it's that convinced me as well for the masculine SE. So that's that part as well. I said, I do that as well. So yeah, probably masculine SE. So yeah, that's how I see it. Really, maybe with the body, but for the rest, not really. I think I'm like the others. I'm not very competitive for objects, or you know.
Yeah, maybe because you're a double decider, so it's not like an IP, like an ISTP or something that's like pure competition for you. It's more like I'll compete, but it's more for fun. But you know, if it gets too far out,
okay.
You know,
maybe yeah, makes sense because it's like I'm not stuck again with that. I kind of don't care. It comes to my mind, and then it's not that a big deal. I'm not spending days of thinking about that, or you know. So you're right, I think, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's a big difference between the double decider with the SE versus the the single deciders. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up the interview, do you have any questions for me that I can answer for you before we wrap up the interview?
Yeah. Maybe I'm wondering how you perceive the masculine SI.
Ooh, masculine SI. That's an interesting question. Okay, well, so for me, it's more like the NE and the SI axis. So the first one that I perceive is I noticed that when I was studying OPS and I finally learned what how I should practice my SI, because I'm in the SI in the bottom, so that's gonna be like my biggest life problem, right? So the first thing I noticed was like, okay, when I read a book or an audiobook, I need to organize it so that the end result that I have gathered is something that's step by step. So if I read a book or I read anything, I need to be able to do something like, okay, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. And then at the end of the step, there's a specific result that's tangible. Okay. So that's the first one with the SI. The other one with the SI is more related to my FI. So I'm sleep lost, and one of my problem as a sleep lost person, I actually have a good question for you now, actually, now that I'm thinking about this. There was one question I forgot to ask you, so I'll ask you about that before we wrap the interview. It's because I have sleep loss, so that means I'm not balanced with the energy, you know. So when I got my typing results back from David Shan, they said, okay, you have 50% use of your sleep loss, which is great because most people can't use their sleep loss, right? But you can use 50%. So I'm like, okay, sweet.
Okay.
So they said I can do my emotional processing part. It's slower than someone that has sleep higher, but at least I can do it. I have functional use of it. But it seems like I'm having more trouble in the SF part of it, like being cool. So I need to organize organize like the right clothes to wear to like look good and stuff. And number 2 was like I think the actual physical part of it. So I started researching a lot on this because I was like, oh my god, yeah, this is a big problem if I don't take care of the SF sleep, right? The SIFI.
Oh, you saw that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a huge problem. So I was like, okay, because I'm a stupid EP and a freaking EP keeps gathering stuff and I just keep gathering things instead of organizing. I said, okay. So I was watching one of the videos and that video really resonated with me so hard. So the EP, because we're so good at gathering that we feel like we can, like for work, for example, we can just keep working and keep gathering money from work, right? We don't need to save up so much money because we can just keep gathering them, right? And eventually you'll become old, and when you become old, you can't gather as much anymore because you'll be too weak, right? So now that I know that concept, I was like, well, shit. Every time I buy something on Amazon or online or in person that I want to gather, I am sacrificing my life force every time I do that. So I was thinking to myself, So I'm like, okay, if I don't want to sacrifice my life, because essentially you're giving up your life. Okay, because every dollar that I've earned was spent at work that I've already used up. I can never have it back, right? So I need to use that money, which is something physical, SI, it's very physical, and use it wisely so that that money can be used to conserve my energy so that I have energy to use. And instead of
interesting. Okay.
Instead of losing the energy, I will have it. So I was like, okay, so I was looking at Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if you've read his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
No, not yet.
Okay, it's a really good book. He's an INTJ. That's how they.
He's INTJ. I know the other, but okay. So he's INTJ. All right.
Yeah. So basically, he said in a book, you want to put your money in assets that will make money for you, so that your money will make money for you. So you don't have to go to work to make money. Your money will work for you. Then you can preserve your energy. So I'm like, okay, I need to do that because otherwise I'm gonna kill myself at a young age, you know. Yeah. So okay, and then he gave some examples of what like how can your money can make money for you, because it's an NI concept, right? So he said, okay, if you buy real estate, then you can rent it out to someone, and then that house will make money for you. So you're not working; it's making revenue for you, right?
It's active revenue.
Yeah. So and then he said that if you own a business, eventually, if you create the right systems, then the business can run without you, and it can make money for you. So yes, you're investing on it, but long term, like let's say 10 years from now, the business doesn't need you anymore, and it can make money for you. So you can, again,
Yeah.
make money. Money will make money for you. So now I'm thinking about that really hard now. Like before, like I'm so tempted to buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And every time I buy something, I just get scared. I'm like, you want to give up a little bit of your life right now? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll procrastinate on that, and I'll think about it. If it's something that I really, really want, okay,
Yeah.
I'll buy it. But if it's not that important, I won't gather, because it's dangerous.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that you're an EP and your sleep is last, yeah, it's I can imagine it's a real struggle.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how you try to break it down, so you can take the potential of your functions to make it. It's very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I suck at it.
But
I suck at it. Okay, I'm not good at it. I'm very bad.
But you are learning, so I think it's what is very important is to be conscious of it. If you see you have a flow, if you're conscious, and that's, by the way, what I like with ops is that you can see some flows that you weren't able to see, and then you can really then figure out how to break it down, at least to have a better to better grasp it, and then to take actions to like I told you with the control, and then I thought I was a leader OI, and now I was blind to those blind spots. I was really blind, and so being conscious is very important. I really see that, and that's cool that you are trying you are using your knowledge to make it work.
Yeah, I'm trying, but like I said, I suck at it. So it's work in progress.
Yeah, but it's last. So of course it's difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna take me at least, I think, 10 years or more to figure it out. But anyway, so my last question for you is talk about being energy dominant, being balanced with expending energy and preserving energy.
Actually, for the energy dominance, what I do see is that I'm not info dominant, because I consume way too much, and I'm like blasting just a bit. So there is a real imbalance. I do see that. So I much more see that than energy dump. But I see that I try to preserve the energy. But my play and my sleep are in the middle, so it's kind of balanced somehow. But for sure, I'm not info dominant. I'm convinced of that. And for the energy, the thing I'm processing now is how are the persons that are not energy dominant. So I try to compare to really see. But as I'm energy dominant, I'm kind of a benchmark for energy dominant. So I will try to pay attention to how many times I consider that, like maybe you should take a nap at that specific moment in the day, or you should find a job which you won't need to go and take the car for a long time. And I kind of do that. Yeah, I kind of consider that, like, if you take that job, then you will need to use more energy. I kind of do that. That's something I'm beginning to see.
Yeah, so our types are interesting. You are like you're a pure blood EP, because consume is an EP animal, right? And then play is an EJ animal, and sleep is IP, and blast is IJ, right? So you are you're the pure EP, because your first animal is an EP animal and your last animal is an IJ animal. So
yeah, right.
That makes you a pure. That's why you're seeing the information more, and you're more aware of it, is because your first animal is an info animal. It's not an energy animal, right? So
interesting. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Right. And it's also it's all, that's why you're also you're a pure double decider also, because play is EJ and sleep is IP. So you're very balanced with self and tribe, right?
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's definitely interesting. Okay.
Right. Because I'm not the same.
Makes sense.
I'm play, blast, consume, sleep, right? So my information is extremely balanced. Blast and consume in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm also I'm extremely balanced, because my second animal, my savior animal, is blast, which is an IJ animal, and I'm an EP. So I'm an EP with a lot of strong IJ abilities, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right. Right. So, but my first animal is tribe is play, which is EJ, and then my last animal is sleep, which is IP, right? So I have, even though I'm an EP, I have a lot of decider problems too because of that imbalance, you know.
Wow, interesting. Wow, actually I wasn't very aware of that dimension of the system.
Yeah.
But wow, it's very powerful if you also consider that, because then it will explain, basically what you just explained me minutes ago.
Yeah.
Which wow, interesting. So definitely the system has a lot of dimensions that we can compare and use and really see very specific parts. All right, I will process that. That's definitely something that can be very useful even to Thai people, you know, because sometimes you can, what I'm sometimes trying to do is to type French speaking people with a friend, just to do some practice, you know. And sometimes it's very difficult because some people are very balanced and it takes hours to, and of course my knowledge of the system is very limited. So but then that could maybe explain why it's obvious for some people. You know, a specific part is very obvious, but in that specific case could be more tricky. And even if there is the experience of the person, because, you know, it's not just type related, it could be related to the education, the experience. But that dimension related to the type is very important. I do see it. I do see that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because my girlfriend is an INTJ jumper. She was typed as by David Chan, right? And so she's NIFI, and she gets so much tribe hate, but she's a double decider, right? So, but because her first animal is sleep, which is an IP animal, she gets a lot of tribe hate. Like her family, she's always being picked on by her family member. So her whole family gang up on her. You know, so she gets the tribe tidal waves, right? Tribe hate, tribe tidal waves, and then she goes to work, same thing, tribe hate tidal waves. And you know, and she's she's a double decider. Now, because she's a double decider, she knows what to do to fix it, you know, but she still keeps getting it. She still keeps getting it because she, you know, because of that play first, right? For me, I'm play first, so I keep getting self tidal waves, like, you know, like I'm like, I'm not setting boundaries with people because I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm always doing things for other people because I'm play first. So I'm getting that tidal wave.
Right.
And other people are disrespecting me because I'm not putting boundaries, you know. So obviously now I know how to do it because of the OPS code, I know what to do now. So I've been practicing. And because I'm a double decider, it's not the hardest thing to fix. So I actually fix it.
All right.
Most part.
Okay.
But it's kind of weird. Like I'm like, I'm an EP. Why do I have so many decider problems? And my girlfriend's also an IJ.
Yeah.
But he have so many decider problems. I'm like, oh, okay, it's because of that stupid, you know, first animal is a decider animal.
Yeah. So it could be very tricky to type people then, you know. It's like, but it's really like a decider, but then I see the decision. So, and it's really like because of that you have like an intensity, like in the spectrum of like pure double decider, like a bit more stuck, you know, with with people. It's it's funny. Okay.
Yeah, like so for ESTPs, this is a spectrum, right? You're exactly like right on the middle, like the stereotypical.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm very like the stereotypical because of my as I told you, I had the physical problem.
Right.
So at least that I perceive myself not very archetypal, you know. But that's right. I'm consume play, which is standard, and MF, you know, like pushy with the sensory makes sense as well, like for the archetype.
All right, Luan, thanks for coming out and doing this interview. Appreciate chatting with you about OPS and learning more about your type.
All right, thank you very much, Kendrick. It was very useful, and thank you. Thanks for having me, and see you next time.
All right, take care, man.
Take care. Bye-bye.